So what are we doing out here today? So we're out in the local branch of our river here, and what I'm up to today, I've got my bucket. I'm out here to pick up some river rock to make a water feature for our home. From what I understand, the birds really love it, especially hummingbirds. So that's what I'm going to do today. Let's get some rocks, get home, get this thing built. Okay, so I think I got a pretty nice mix, and they're all a particular size on purpose, and we will explain that as we're building it. So let's lug this thing back to the truck and get home, get building. So for our bird fountain, I wanted to use some of the things that we already had. We have an old flower pot. Actually only need one bucket and a top tray, and we will get this all assembled, and I'll show you what I'm doing as I go along. So the plan here was to use our terracotta colored pot, and then we'll be taking a bucket that we'll be using as our water reservoir and going inside the terracotta, and then a larger water capture on top, because it will be a fountain that will be spraying. And I think this is going to work out well. But I didn't like this color combination, of course. The terracotta, the black in the middle, and this like an aqua color. So what we're going to do is I'm going to paint this top splash bowl and the centerpiece with a matte green color. So anyway, let's get that done, and then we'll keep right on rolling. Well, that should be better. I think it will look a lot nicer setting in that pot. As always, everything that I use, mask, everything that I use, I put in the description below. But I wanted, like I said earlier, I wanted to focus on using what I had on hand, so it's easy for you. Just look around your place, see what you can locate, and reuse things that you just didn't throw away and it's been laying around the house. And I think we'll end up with something pretty nice. Okay, so we have everything gathered together to get our fountain going. We have our base pot, which is for looks and also adds stability and weight to the project. We have our bucket, which is our reservoir that's going to sit down inside. We received our pump kit. This is a really nice little kit. It's highly rated on Amazon, and of course I put the links for this in the description below. But what I like about this, there's several things actually. The pump, this is solar operated. On this pump, it's going to sit clear down into the bottom of the reservoir, and of course we'll run the wire out. And it has this hose that attaches to the top of the pump, and we'll bring the hose, follow the hose up through everything that we build for our fountain here. So our little head, the sprinkler head, will fit right at the rock level. So we will be setting the pump down into the reservoir. Our catch basin will go on top. Now we had another little pot that I used, and we're going to just set that in. And then the wire that I showed earlier, I cut in a circle the size of this catch basin, and that will sit right in there. Now these are so large that those rocks are going, some of those would fall through. So I also cut chicken wire that I had to sit on top of that wire, so it will help support those rocks. So let's go get this thing all set up and get it operational, see how it looks. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get it all together. We've got a nice spot out here right next to our bird feeders and overlooking our raised beds. So I'm going to get this thing set up on a tripod and we'll get it all together. Now, before I get moving on this, I want to show you that on top of my feeder, I've got a woodpecker feeder that I make. We actually sell those on Etsy along with our camera boxes. But anyway, I had a nice spot up here to mount my solar panel and run the wire down to my fountain. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to show you is I saw in the instructions that they recommend that the pump stay off of the bottom so debris doesn't soak into or get into the pump. They do put a filter on these, but I decided to use a piece of rock slate that I had and just cable tie it to it so it will sit down there in the bottom. I also ran the wire out the back and up to my solar panel. So now what we'll do is we're going to get some water and fill above the pump with water, and then we'll get our catch basin put on. Our catch basin, we already have the tube attached to the hose. And by the way, I do want to point this out because you know I don't sugarcoat anything. This hose getting onto this fitting for the nozzle head was a bear. What I had to do is I had to use a heat gun, or you could probably use a hair dryer, and really warm this up so it was very stretchable. And I was able, after several attempts, to get that put on. But anyway, I wanted to let you know that one's not easy to get on. It will go on, but it's going to take you some time to do it. So next up is our little pot. Drop that back down in there a little bit more. Okay, then next we have our wire from our fencing, just keeping it fairly close to the center, and it doesn't have to be exactly. And then our chicken wire, let's go with that one. Okay, now just going to let that sit there and we'll get the rocks put on. Okay, that should work for right now. And you can add or subtract whatever rocks you want, of course. But I'm going to pull this hose up slightly and put our nozzle on. And then I'm going to use our rocks to block it. And again, you can rearrange this all you like. Let's get it plugged in and see what we've got. Okay, so we are on. That looks nice. So that's pretty much a win. We like it, like the looks, like the way it sounds. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.